Working conditions in Norway, particularly Oslo area, because I don't know if it's the same everywhere else. You have never heard this information, and you might not be ready to hear this information. Like, there are people who still think like this in 2025, right? Okay, so I get a job at this place, part-time job. That's what I mean. I get a part-time job working as a waiter. I was working in a hotel, and it was like you know, these high-end fancy hotels, blah blah blah. So I'm working there. Initially, the contract that I get is for me to work as a waiter, and that means that I have to be, you know, talking to the customers, serving food. That's what I was supposed to be doing. That's the contract that I signed for initially. And then the problem comes, you know, trust me, it's very expensive to do hair in Norway. So people can keep their hair in for like up to 6 months, but then, you know, coming in here, I don't even know where to buy braids. I don't know who can do my hair at an affordable price. So I take out my braids when they get old, and I like parading in my short hair, not this scruffy. I had combed it and, you know, put it down. So my boss now asked me, she's like, oh, you know what, you're not looking smart, you look scruffy, why don't you hold your hair back? And I'm explaining to her that I can't do it because my hair has lots of shrinkage, but she wouldn't understand. So she's like, why don't you straighten your hair when you come to work tomorrow? Let's see what we are working with. But you know, this is an afro, so when you straighten it, it even goes crazy. It's like boom, like this, you know. But anyway, I wanted the job, and I'm also still a bit naive. I don't have information about my rights. This is my first job working as a waiter. So I come back the next day. I've blow dried my hair, and it's a huge afro like this. My hair used to be long that time. And then she like calls me, she's so mad. She says, this is unacceptable. Why can't you just pull your hair backwards like everybody? This, because that's the company policy. So I'm asking her, like, when you made the policy, did you make it for black people as well? Because my hair, especially if I try to comb it and like hold it with a scrunch, it looks even more scruffy. It's flying everywhere. Then she's like, oh, you know, you act as if you're the first African that I've worked with. I've worked with many Africans. Our housekeeping is full of people from Ethiopia and Somalia. And I mean, this woman literally thought that everyone in Africa has the same hair as people from Ethiopia. You know, Ethiopians have beautiful hair. Like, their afro is flowing. It's not even afro, but it's long, it's beautiful, it's different. So I was trying to explain to her that our hair is not the same. She's like, but you're from Africa, right? Why can't you iron your hair like they do? And it was terrible. So we get to to a point where like this has to go through the HR that, oh, I'm not complying with the dressing presentation. And then the other problem that we had was that the guests would always want to touch my hair. They'll be like, can I touch your hair? It's so nice. Where are you from? So you have to make the customer happy. So there's no way I was going to be like, no, don't touch my hair, whatever. So yeah, that was the other problem. So our issue ends up in the HR's office, and then the next week I come to work, and then I'm informed, oh, you know what, you're actually going to work as a runner from now on, not as a waiter. So she just switched my duties like that. So as a runner, you are just basically polishing cutlery, cleaning dirty place off the tables. And then before I knew it, she had said I now need to work as a dishwasher. And my contract says I'm supposed to work as a waiter. She says this is because I'm failing to look presentable on the job. I was in L, and during that time, around that time, that's when some of my colleagues started telling me that, you know what, this lady has a reputation for being racist. She's actually, it's not that she's trying to keep you on the job by giving you different options, but she's actually trying to make you quit. And if you don't, she's only going to make your life harder. We got to an extent that she was asking me to cut my hair. So I'm just using this platform to just, like, you know, out some of these employers that we have in this country who treat us like crap. And by the way, by surprise, there is racism in this country, but it's actually mostly coming from other fellow Europeans, not Norwegians. Norwegians, if they want to discriminate you, they just keep their mouths shut, or they just simply ignore you. But these guys who are like fellow immigrants but more privileged by European right, they can be trivial. So my boss was from Germany. So after I'd worked there for some time, I ended up dropping out of the job because we were continuing to have a back and forth. We even ended up going to court when she asked me to cut my hair. And unfortunately, the workplace handed me notice and said I had to leave the job. They said they were doing it for my own mental health, considering what had happened. But I knew like they're just trying to protect their company image. And then they gave my boss an opportunity to resign, so that it looked like, oh, we can no longer process the case of racism that was reported because she resigned. She's now a housemaster in a different hotel. So yeah, that is one of the stories of my life. And apparently, yeah, she resigned, starts working at some other place. And rumor has it that she ended up also being called out for mistreating immigrants of color. So I wasn't the only one. If you know who I'm talking about, please don't you say the name in the comment section, because I know you people. But yeah, I'm just trying to make something out of this hair. I don't know what it's going to be. I have an emergency hair appointment and I don't have time to go and buy hair. So I was just like, let me look at what I have so that I can try and fix something out of it.